So far during this research unit, you've been working on brainstorming about your topic and creating and searching with keywords. Most likely, you've gotten most of your information from Google searches or sources suggested by your teacher. In this video today, we'll be talking about another possible source of information, and that's databases. So our learning target for this lesson is that we will understand that research databases function differently than Google and require special strategies to be used successfully. We will demonstrate our understanding by learning about research databases and using them to find information that relates to our topic. We will also be using a tool called Edpuzzle today to give you a chance to answer questions and practice using these databases along with watching this video. So make sure to keep the Edpuzzle tab open during this lesson. Since we're going to be using databases today to find our information, I want to first talk a little bit about what a database is. We use them all the time without really knowing it. A database is a collection of information that is organized so it can be easily searched in different ways. It's no good having a lot of information if you need to sort through it piece by piece, so databases use systems for this. If you've ever seen someone organize papers into file folders and then file folders into a filing cabinet, that is sort of like a database. The information is organized, and there's a system to help the user find what is needed. When you use your Contacts app on your phone, that is also a database. The information, your contacts, can be searched by first name, last name, or different groups that you may have set up. Databases hold and organize a lot of information and let us sort through it easily. During this video, we'll be using online research databases to look for information. So those types of databases contain articles, books, statistics about lots of different topics. We can use them to search by subject or topic, by date, and even by type of information that we need. So why is it important to use research databases when we're looking for information? We need good quality, trustworthy information to learn about our topic, to make sure we get our facts straight. You may have heard about the problem of fake news a lot lately. It can be really hard to know what sources to trust. Since anyone can publish information on the internet, results from a Google search may include incorrect information from unreliable sources and unqualified authors. When you search on Google, the enormous amount of information can make finding exactly what you need very frustrating. And finally, Google results are ranked by commercial value, so companies pay to have their links placed at the top of the result list. So sometimes the first things we see are those that companies have paid for us to view. On the other hand, when we use research databases, we don't have these types of concerns. Research databases provide information that is reliable and accurate. It has been written by an expert author. The information has been reviewed and checked by other experts. The information from these databases come in many formats, like scholarly journals, magazine articles, articles from reference books. This means that these research databases give us higher quality information that we can trust to be accurate. This is the type of information that is very helpful to learn more about our topic. So, we're using databases because they store a lot of information, we can search them easily, and also because the information contained there is reliable and accurate. It's a better quality of information. To get started looking for information about your topic in these databases, you'll need to follow these steps. And I'll show you these in just a minute. First, you'll find the 7th ELA research link either on your teacher's website or on our library website under the Class Resources tab. To get to the library website, start at southeastpolk.org, click on the Students tab, choose Library Services, and then the Junior High. Once you're on this page, this is our library website, you'll see 5 different research databases that should be helpful for this unit. Each database is a little different in the way it looks, but they are all similar in the way that they work. So let me show you how to get to these databases. So when we start on southeastpolk.org, if we hover over the Students tab, here's a link for Library Services. That takes us to This page, we click on junior high. And now we're here on the library site, and we can click on class resources. Here you can see the 7th grade ELA link for our research unit, and this is where we need to be. So here for searching for information, we have all these databases available. When I get started with a database, for this example, I'm going to choose the one that says research in context. Our research databases are password protected. That's another way we know we're getting quality information, because only people with the passwords can use these. No one else can get in and change this information. And once I've entered the password, now I'm finally ready to start searching. So let's go ahead and take just a minute to get logged into these databases. We'll put the instructions back up on the screen so that you know where to go. And then when we come back, we'll get started searching. Okay, so you should have had a chance to get logged into the database called Research in Context. That's what we're going to be using in the next part of this lesson. Before we get started actually searching in the database, though, there are a few things to know that will help you get the best results. The first thing to know is that databases only know how to look for an exact match to what you type in. This is really different from searching in Google. When we search in Google, we might use a lot of words. In fact, we might even use a whole sentence or even a question to describe what we're looking for. But doing this in a database won't work. That's because databases only use keywords as search terms. We've done some work with keywords already so far in this research unit, so we probably remember that keywords come from the main ideas in my topic. We might also know going into it that just one keyword might not be enough, but it's important to remember that keywords, we need to stick to just keywords in databases and not to overload it with too many words at a time. We need to be very careful too when we're putting our information into databases, because they look for an exact match to our information. If we spell a word wrong, we may miss some results for the things that we're looking for. So we need to be a little careful with that. I also need to think about the type of information I want to read when I'm searching in databases. Most of them will let me select an option called full text, which means I can access an entire article online. If I don't click full text, I might just get a title that matches what I'm looking for or a summary for an article, but neither of those things will give me enough information to actually use in a research project. The last thing to kind of think about is I need to be careful that the reading level of the results is appropriate for me. I don't want anything that's so difficult that I can't really understand what it's saying. So as I'm searching, I'm using keywords. I may need to combine 2 or 3 of them, and I need to be careful with my spelling. I'm searching in full text articles at an appropriate reading level. So we're going to look at how to do all of those things. Okay, so we're going to go back to, I'm going to show you a few things in this database research in context, and we're going to look together at how searching in a research database works. So from time to time, I'm going to ask you to either do some searching on your own or to kind of copy the search that I'm doing, okay? My topic, my example is concussions. So that's the word that I'm going to use to start because that seems like the most important word in my topic. I'm also going to think about some synonyms and related terms in case concussions doesn't really work out. So I know that concussions are injuries to the brain, so I may have to work the word brain in there somewhere. I know they happen during contact sports, so I might use sports injuries as a search term. But for right now, since we're just getting started, let's type in the word concussions. So if you would do that with me, that would be great. And then let's see what we get. So once I type this in and I hit enter, the database is now looking for matches for the word concussions. All right, and now that I've typed that in, I have a lot of different information here. And over to the side, under where it says everything, here are all the different articles and results that it found about concussions. And so I can see there's 1,500 different newspaper articles, there's 459 magazine articles, audio and video results, which I don't really need. Pictures, I don't really need those either. And then some reference and biography listings. Now that I've done my search, I need to look at the results and see if I'm on the right track, or maybe see if I need to make any adjustments. Because I have so many results, this is over 2,000 different results. And I see that they look pretty good. Concussions in football, concussions in sports, concussion. But here are some people, I'm not exactly sure who they are. Here are these pictures. I don't really need that. This is talking about concussions in Alzheimer's. That's not really what I'm looking for. So I'm wondering if I could find better information by adding another search term. So one of the things I was thinking about on my research journal when I was brainstorming things that I know about concussions and things that I wonder about, I was wondering about concussions and specifically the National Football League. So I'm going to use the word concussions and football, and I'm going to see if that gets a little bit less information for me to sort through, and I'm going to see if the results talk more about just those two things and not every single result that was there before. So now that I've done that search, now just for concussions in football, it reduced it by over half. So instead of 1,500 newspaper results, I've got a little bit under 600. I've got a lot less magazine results. So I'm getting closer. This might not be exactly where I need to end up, but I'm getting closer. I took a large number of search results and I kind of narrowed it down. In fact, the first result here talks exactly about what I'm looking for, concussions in football. Here's one about the National Football League and a lawsuit that they settled. So that might be helpful because I really do want to know about the NFL. When I see this person's name, I don't know who that is, but in the next line, I see that he actually played for the 49ers. So maybe this is about a football player who had to deal with concussions. So here are a lot of other things. Here's some information about college football players. So now I really feel like I'm kind of on the right track. And the next thing I would kind of need to do would be to look at these articles a little bit more and do a little bit of reading and see which of them actually work for me. So I'm going to click on the one that says concussions and football. And I think I might want to spend a little more time with that article. So we'll come back to that in just a minute. Just a reminder, here's kind of what we did. We typed in just one keyword to start and then added a second keyword because our results were too general the first time, too many pieces of information to sort through. And then a couple things that we didn't quite get to, but we'll want to think about. We'll want to make sure that we're taking sources where the reading level is kind of on track for us. So once we've done that, once we've actually done our search, so once I added that second keyword about football, the articles I found seemed like they really might work for my project. I see some that I really want to investigate a little bit more. So when I find an article that I want to use, I need to find a way to save it. So to do this, I'm going to copy and paste a link to that article into my research journal. All those different columns where you've been saving information, we're going to still use that, but we're going to use the link from this source. That way I can go back to this article again and again without having to redo my search in the database. So to do this, I'm looking for something called a permanent link. It's a little different from a website. When we go to a website, we click on the website link that's in the top search bar. We can always use that. In databases, because they use passwords, we need to look for something called a permanent link to actually get back to that article. Once I have that link, then I'm going to use Control-C to copy it, Control-V to paste it into my research journal. So let's look at what that is like. So I'm going to go back to Research and Context. And I have this article that talks about concussions in football. And if you aren't in this article, if you could just open an article with the searching that you did along with me, that would be great so you can see how this works. Off to the side, I have this thing called tools. And so this is where my permanent link is going to be. All right, and here I've got this thing called the URL. That's the permanent link that I want. I just click on that to highlight it, Control C, and now here's my research journal that I've been working on. And I scroll down to where I finally have some space. I found some really great sources so far. And there's my link to my database article. I have sort of a practice assignment for you, just to give you a little bit of a chance to see how this works before you start trying this on your own. But to do this, we're going to follow the same process of conducting a search that we just practiced together, but I want you to use a different database. So you're going to use this database called EBSCOhost, get all logged in, and then search for articles about your topic. So remember, to get logged into our source here, our database, you'll need to be on that 7th grade ELA research page. You'll click on the database that says EBSCOhost and enter this username and password. There will be a little yellow box that says continue. You'll click on that, and then you'll be in a source that looks pretty familiar to what we were just doing before. So this time, you're going to actually search for articles that talk about your topic. And remember, when you find them, you're going to copy and paste the permanent link into your research journal. So as we're searching, a couple things to keep in mind. Remember that databases only use keywords. They don't use a whole string of words. They don't use a sentence. They don't use a question. It's usually better to start with 1 or 2 words and add more as you need to, if it seems like you need more to get to the information you need. Remember that databases are really picky about spelling, so make sure that what you're typing in is exactly what you're looking for. And then make sure to kind of look at the results you're getting and think about, is this the type of stuff that I really am looking for, right? You're looking at those sources, you're reading them, and then you're thinking about if this is actually what I want. And then you need to go back and make adjustments if needed. Once you've done those things, once you're finding something that you can use, and you've copy and pasted the link into your research journal in the red column, then in the purple column, you'll do the same thing that you did before. You're going to write in your own words what your article is about and why it could be a good source for you. The last part of our lesson today is a quick summary of what we have done. Today we learned that research databases work differently from Google, and we practiced using those research databases to find information. So, just to check for understanding, would you please fill in the blanks in this paragraph to help you summarize what you learned about research databases today? You're welcome to kind of look back through the video if you aren't exactly sure, but your completed paragraph can be recorded in your research journal below the colored columns. So hopefully our lesson today gave you some good ideas about using research databases, and you should be able to find some great information.